Today, I'm excited to share with you this little known secret that can help your operations run much, much smoother every day. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about how this can change your landscaping company for the better. I'm Gabe Arnold, and this is the Green Mountain Podcast. We are the champions who brave the elements to create beauty. We see chaos and create order. We are never afraid of hard work, and we understand the power of strategic thinking and intentional actions. We come from all walks of life, and we will never allow our past to determine our future potential. We create beauty around the homes of our customers and increase the value of our community with the work that we do every day. We understand the power of consistent branding because it helps us grow and serve all those around us. We practice effective sales so our company, employees, and community can benefit from the value we add. We intentionally invest in operational habits that help us deliver excellent results to our customers on a continual basis. We understand that powerful and beautiful things take time to grow, and with consistent watering and intention, amazing results can happen. We are committed to making the world a better place by being positive examples to all those around us. We don't allow anyone to look down on us because we know the value we bring to our community as leaders. We create positive workplaces for our employees so they feel safe and supported, and at the same time, we hold ourselves to high standards. We pursue excellence on a daily basis because we know the journey is worth the sacrifice. We are the protectors of the land. We are the guardians of beauty. We are the heroes. We are landscapers. I remember when I first started doing hardscaping, I was doing some retaining walls that were dry laid. I also, one of the things my grandfather taught me was stone masonry. So I was able to lay stone walls and other things like that. And I remember some of the first times I was doing it, we would prepare the base if we were doing a dry stacked, dry laid retaining wall. And I would prepare the base and get it all lined up and straightened out. And then I incorrectly, the first time, just started laying the base stones down and thought that I was going to be able to, lay a straight line. It was supposed to be a straight wall. And if I remember right, it was like 2.5, 3 feet tall. So it wasn't like it was massive in height, but it was about probably 60 feet long. So it was decent length. And I just dove in and started laying everything down. And by the time I got to the end of the first row, I was like, awesome, I'm making great progress. And when I stood back and took a look at it, I took a look down the line and my line was real wavy. It wasn't a straight line. And that's where, fortunately, my grandfather and one of the other guys that worked with him said, well, they were working on something else in the project, and they came over and said, well, Gabe, you forgot to pull a line. You forgot to pull a line to, across the initial row so that you could make sure it was straight, pull a line, just like when you lay brick, same concept. And in that moment, it was one of the first times that somebody helped me understand that zooming out and getting perspective, we're going to talk a little bit more about this week on the show as well, is really a key part of being successful. And what I want to share with you today will help you because you already know, I'm sure, how to do this when it comes to the actual job and laying the retaining wall or cutting a nice straight edge on a bed. We can't just get so heads down and look at one single component. Otherwise, things get wavy, wacky, or they get off track. And one of the keys that I've seen the most successful landscapers that we work with use, we've seen many of our successful clients use, is creating this habit of reflection. And so a habit of reflection is something that we teach a lot and we talk about a lot in the Green Mountain Mastermind, and honestly with all of our products and services with Landscape Marketing Hero, because when you start to create that habit of reflection, then it's going to allow you to step back and observe what's happening. Too often in what one of our clients calls the 90 days of hell in spring, which I don't think it should be called that, but he kind of gets busy too often in that stage, or when we're on a big project, or when things are really busy, or when they're not going so well in our landscaping businesses. It's easy to just get stuck on the details or get so focused on one thing that we don't step back and we don't have the ability to reflect. However, if you're willing to change some of your operational habits, then you will have the ability to step back, reflect, and start to have more strategic planning in place and start to get better results. It's going to be that guideline that we use when we're laying, down a walkway, we want it straight, or when we're doing a retaining wall. It's the same thing in your business. And here in Landscape Marketing Hero, we teach the CEO method, which is consistent branding, effective sales, and operational habits. And that's what we're going to talk a lot about this week on the show is operational habits. Not only in the landscaping space, but in all the home services folks that we've been able to work with over the years. And honestly, with many of the amazing business mentors that I've had the privilege of working with, and coaches and consultants that I've hired over the years, every single one of them that's been successful in business has this cycle that they run through. And so what we've done is refine this and make it just simpler and just model after what we've seen work really well with our large successful landscaping clients, and in other businesses. This habit will serve you well, even if in the future you expand beyond landscaping or add on other things. This habit will serve you well because it's a principled approach that will work to help you really grow and make operations run a lot smoother every day. So the habit that you want to form is setting a time each week where you take time to reflect and you look back and say, okay, what's going well? Where do I need support or help? What changes should I make? And then in that reflection, just kind of taking note. And we actually have a guide that we, that if you go to Landscape Marketing Hero, we have some guides and other things that will help you go through this process. Taking that time to reflect, then creating a strategic plan, and then implementing what you want to improve and optimize. That's how you grow your business. And if you think about it, a lot of us probably, I know I was kind of conditioned early on in a less effective method, which was, first of the year, or end of the year, I'm going to start thinking about the next year and what are my big goals and all the things I want to do. And while that is a worthy exercise when done effectively, if we're just doing year-end, goal setting or looking ahead, it's kind of like New Year's resolutions. And those usually don't work if we don't have a strategy and plan in place. So the process that I would encourage you to start using, regardless if it's just you running your landscaping business right now, or you're well down the road and you're climbing the green mountain, as we like to say, that'll take you all the way up to that $10 million year plus company, start by having a meeting each week. It can just be with yourself, or it can be with a couple key folks on your team, your employees, whether they're a leadership team or a couple people on the crew that you want input from, and just have a brief meeting once a week that you take that time to sit down and reflect on what's going well, where things aren't going well, where can you improve and optimize, and just kind of brainstorm for, it can honestly be 10 or 15 minutes. It doesn't need to be a really long period, because obviously we need to focus on getting out there, producing results, taking great care of our customers, creating an amazing customer experience. But if we can only do that if we create this habit of reflection. And so you reflect for 10 or 15 minutes, what's working, brainstorm, think through those things, where do you need support, then create just a simple list of, here's the strategic next steps I'm going to take. Just some random examples of like, okay, if I feel, you could say like, I feel like our routes really aren't as efficient. So I'm going to take an hour next week, look at the routes and re-optimize those, so we're hitting our accounts in the most optimized manner. You could say, man, like if you're growing and you got a lot of employees and you're all coming to the shop, but you are filling up at the local gas station, you're burning some time sending them to the gas station and then to the jobs. I know some of the folks we talk to say, well, a more optimized way to do that is have everybody fill up at end of the day, so they're not wasting time at the gas station. Or even better, in some cases, depending on your situation, your lot, where you're at, sometimes it's better to get your fuel delivered right to your shop, so that there's no need to go to a gas station to fuel up the mowers, all the equipment in your trucks. But that's an example of saying, man, I don't think things are quite right, or we could optimize this. Here's the strategic next step. And that's a simple example of how you can do this on a weekly basis. One of the things that we encourage our members in the mastermind to do, we teach our clients, is to actually sit down and say, okay, here's a few big broad goals for the year. Here's our revenue we want to hit, number of customers we want to serve this year, number of employees we're going to recruit through our consistent branding, and just some broad 3 to 5 big goals for the year, and then take those and start to break them into smaller goals and targets for each quarter. And then when you've defined the next quarter, then you can say, okay, if I have these big goals for the quarter, I'm going to, try to get 4 new customers this quarter. Then what do I need to do each month? And then you can break that down into the weekly level. That's a little bit more of an advanced version, but you can start to get into this habit very simply, even if you don't have a big plan for the year yet, which we can help you do in the mastermind. Even if you don't have that in place, you can just start to create this weekly habit, which is really the driver for all your success. And so setting aside a time, again, maybe you're just meeting with yourself, maybe it's with a partner, a spouse that will help you, maybe it's another employee, but even if it's just yourself, setting this habit of reflection, what's working well, where do I need improvement or help or support, or where are the challenges, strategy, how can I strategically make some changes in this, and then in the next week you implement those things you're going to do. If you put this cycle in place, I'm confident that you're going to see incremental improvement over the course of the entire year. Your business is going to grow. You're going to lower the stress that you have sometimes, because it's going to give you that clear path that you're following. So I'm excited this week because we're going to talk a lot about how to have operational habits that move you forward. It's part of, like I mentioned, the CEO method of consistent branding, effective sales, and operational habits. So this week we're going to dive into operational habits. I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show. If you're ready to begin your journey up the Green Mountain, where we show you how to build a low-stress, high-profit, $10 million per year landscaping company, then head over to landscapemarketinghero.com to download your free growth map. One of our guides will be there to help you along the way. Again, that's landscapemarketinghero.com.